As clocks around the country bent towards midnight on January 2020, for many, it was impossible to imagine that the new year would put the country's bustling nightlife to a screeching halt. As it has been over the years for those in the entertainment industry, the new year presented many opportunities. The entertainment industry in Uganda has for the last decade been on an upward trajectory, and according to statistics from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, it contributed 141.5 billion, equivalent to 0.3% of the entire contribution of the service sector to Uganda's GDP. It's in the Ugandan DNA to party, as some say the party here never stops. True to the saying, from January till March, the capital and its suburbs were in their usual element, not until Corona and its associated effects knocked at the doors. Countries effected measures to stop the spread of this novel coronavirus, and the first casualties were those in the entertainment industry.
The next front line of fighting the virus is to stop the merrymaking, the discos, the dances, the bars, the sports, the music shows, cinemas, and the concerts. These are very dangerous gathering points with the virus around. Drunkards sit close to one another. They speak with saliva coming out of their mouth. They are a danger to themselves. All these are suspended for a month, for 32 days.
Following the directive, the music went mute, party gates closed, lights put out, and reality kicked in.
Nobody saw it coming. Everybody was so excited for 2020 when, everyone was like, okay, this is going to be my decade, and this is going to be the year. And, this happened, and it was a bit of a reality check. I mean, it's really just shut everything down, like everybody,
We had two great events. We had All-Star Football game at Nambole, featuring Didier Drogba, Sameto, Yaya Toure, Taribo West, and the selected team of Ugandan players. We were selected for the 28th of that same month at Nambole. And then also I had a French band, Kassav band. We had paid, procured the tickets, did everything meant for the show. So unfortunately, Kassav, nothing materialized. We had to cancel off. So probably we lost close to 700 million in those two events. So if anyone has lost, I've lost. And it has not ended at that. We had a team of about 900 experiential marketeers working for telecom companies. Those kids who've been selling mobile money and mobile Nyabo registration and SIM cards and everything, all those ones are not employed anymore. So they are back home. Yeah. So the effect has hit us hard in service sector. Just the way you look at hotels. I drove to Sheraton Hotel yesterday. I found one car at the Sheraton, which has always had full parking. So it's hitting us hard, but we pray the situation normalizes with time.
We were planning many things. We already had awards planned. We had an events planned, the Zina Festival, the Zina Carnival. We were actually moving in the final stages of trying to go towards TV. So all that was was halted because one is we are not sure of how long this will take. The resources also would affect the cash flows because once you get an immediate squeeze, there is a big challenge. How do you actually proceed? So that really affected how we continue working. So all that is on hold now.
I had just kind of started planning to open my new studios because we moved from our old place to this new place here in Kololo. We had just opened these studios, and we basically it made me focus a lot on that because that was like the main thing during COVID is everyone is creating content, putting out content, and all that kind of stuff. But we were very affected. I mean, on the event side. I mean, I had so many events that were planned for.
Those affected by measures range from artists, comedians, service providers, promoters, event organizers, the media, among others.
We had plans previously, like we had shot some videos, some projects. That's what we were planning to, release. But about COVID, of course, no one was ready. Like, no one had plans for it. Like, if it happens, I'm going to do this. There was nothing like that.
I had planned for the year. I usually have my year planner done in January. So I already had projects that we are going to follow the big one, which had just ended in Feb. And it was just waiting for execution because everything was already done. Yeah, so before they announced the whole COVID and lockdown and curfew, I had some very, very major plans, and then, well, it happened.
Yeah, of course, we were planning so much. For the entertainment, we were planning the awards because it was the time of the year where we always plan early. So we're working on what theme are we going to have this year, what are we going to do, what is different. We're working on reports, working on proposals for different sponsors. We're just working on what is the deal this year.
I had so much planned for myself and my artist. We were planning to put an EP together and a semi-concert, like a mini concert for him. But unfortunately, it happened and our plans had to change. Some things had to be postponed, and we had to work within the means that are available to us now.
Happy Powers were like going to happen in March, though they didn't happen because of COVID. Yeah, even my artist was coming to Uganda, Natasha from Burundi. We had like a lot of arrangements.
I was planning to cover Eddie Kenzo's festival, Fefe Busi's concert, and the annual takeover party.
This year was one of the years, actually the only year I was booked more like internationally. I had the flights, at least 1 or 2 flights every month, and of course within as well. So since I had a very successful concert early the year, like around January, normally it yields towards the mid-year and the end of year. So I missed so much. I've missed a lot. I had so many bookings already.
Me, I make most of my money from the travels I make outside Uganda. Yeah, and between February when I finished my show and now, I've cancelled 6 of them. And these are major good paying shows. One of the shows, the guy from Qatar, he called me and said, Salvador, it seems like entertainment is going to be one of the last things to be opened up in Qatar. So our show is indefinitely suspended, yeah, unless anything comes up. And we're like, what can we do? It's almost the same situation here in Uganda.
I was supposed to go to Juba. I had a booking that side of Canada. I had Australia. I had so many, even within, yeah. So it affected a lot.
Many companies had to take measures with cost cutting and staff salary deductions. We were subjected to that also, with me on the chopping block, which really had nothing to do with me, as we shall soon learn. But I'm one of the casualties of COVID-19 for sure. Exhibit A. I'm out of a job.
I mean, it's really affected the industry so much. I mean, like, just the fact that there's been no events open, there's been no bars open, like, so our artists are not really earning money, our DJs are not earning money, but the good thing was that, like, I also see that the positive side of everything. I've just seen the amount of content that has come out from artists, creating lots of music together with producers, artists creating music, coming online with online content. We've seen almost everybody do some kind of an online show or an online concert. So as much as maybe the revenue wasn't the same in these months, I mean, revenue has been really affected, but I believe that the content game has maybe been upped.
I've been watching most of these online shows, all these concerts that have been happening, but my only concern was, where is the money? How are the people making the money? So if you're going to invest, you do production in your house, you put lights, you put all these things, and then people come and watch the show for free just because you have numbers. My only question was always, where is the money? How are these people making the money? So I think it's a very good thing, but if we find a solution to how are we going to make the money off these shows. If I'm going to watch Irene Tale's concert online, Am I paying? Am I subscribing? Things like that.
The online concerts we've seen, we've done a couple of them. All we are trying to find a way of staying relevant and, of course, entertaining our fans.
If it doesn't make financial sense for me, it still doesn't make sense. It's just being relevant, keeping relevant with hope that tomorrow it's going to be better. But if it's not making financial sense, for me, it doesn't work.
Online shows can be applicable in Europe, whereby people pay, but honestly here, people are not paying for online shows. So no artist would prefer to put up an online show than organizing a show in an open ground whereby they are paid per entrance.
I think it can be a culture we can introduce to the Ugandan industry and the fans. But more importantly is how does it look like a business? Because right now it's not looking like a business. It's just looking like a search for relevance. Someone is doing a show because they want to stay relevant, and it works. The numbers were extreme for some of our friends, and others have also had some good numbers, fair numbers. But the point is, we're trying to do, this is a business. So for me, online shows, now we have to think around how we can actually make money.
It works in very developed countries. There are artists who put up shows online and they get the what? Because their clientele are able to pay. But do you expect a person in Chikwai, Katosi, Masulita, Moroto, Simanyi, Mbale, he will want to watch the show for free?
President Museveni likened his move to lock down the economy and institute a dusk-to-dawn curfew to warfare where you go quiet to outwit the enemy. Though the enemy has been seemingly isolated and some sectors of economy now up and running, there are fears that the entertainment industry may never be the same again.
I think things are definitely going to be different. I think the aspect of the online and the digital movement is now a lot more real, and people have tested it and tried it and seen what it is. There's going to be a new normal. At times have changed. Now events, who knows if they'll ever be the same. There's going to be some changes for sure. Like, we're going to have to spend a lot of attention to healthcare, and health and safety when it comes to events. Like, I'm sure, from now on, you'll always have to sanitize before you go to an event. You probably have to wear a mask. Maybe the numbers are going to be controlled. Who knows what's gonna happen? But these are the things that we will probably have to keep in our mind when planning events in the future.
We shall have a new normal. Things will come back to normal. People are already used to the COVID. The first day when we were actually more scared when we reported the first case than we are now. And now we don't even care. The results come out and people continue doing their normal business. So there will be a new normal. Probably masks will remain normal, putting on face masks. Maybe social distancing will remain normal, or you feel uncomfortable staying in places that are crowded. So as such, events might not exactly return anytime soon. And even when they do, people might have to come to events with their masks on, and there will be sanitizers and all that. But that will take some time. So events are really a bit far off.
It's going to be different even post-COVID. We are going to be very cautious on how we do shows, It's going to be very tense. It's no longer going to be freestyle where somebody comes and sits. Yeah? Nowadays, people are going to ask questions. Do you have sanitizer? Are the people attending having masks? Is there this, hygiene that? So even on our level, the costs are going to increase. Yeah, because imagine you having 2,000 people attending your show, and you have to provide sanitizer, you have to provide masks, the sanitary places have to be, you have to increase on the number of toilets and everything. Everything has changed.
A fortnight into the lockdown, events that unfolded would pit the fans against the artists. The fans wanted the artists to help them with relief aid. While some were willing to help, others didn't give a flying fig.
Giving is not an obligation to anyone. Giving is supposed to be a clear heart thing. You have to have the heart for it. If you don't, I personally think a fan comes to me and asks for something, if I have it in plenty, I'm going to share. But if I only have what is enough for me and the people I call my family, I have to be honest and just keep that for myself, because I also have to survive. There has got to be a little bit of selfishness. And we need to do a better job as the fraternity fan now. Me and you, a DJ, and you know the industry. So we need backing from the media, by the way, because artists are being bashed left, right, and center. But the media knows how much the artist makes.
I was actually one of the people who was attacked on Twitter and social media, people asking, oh, we've not seen you giving. So number one is, I feel a celebrity is not obligated. It's not a must that they should give back. And then even though they should, it's not, I don't know, it's always confusing right now. You know, with the fans, it's very confusing. Number one is, today you're going to see a fan commenting on why are they doing things in the limelight? You get it? Then the other day they are going to say, Abrams, Oliwa, we are not seeing you. So sometimes you just get confused along the way. So if you choose to stay back and do your things on the law, they pull you out. They pull you out. If you then go out and then do things in the light, then it's like he's showing off. So for me, it's more of a personal relationship with maybe the fans or with whoever. It doesn't even have to be the fans. It can be your family.
They are partially responsible and partially not responsible to give back to the community. You know, there is a body that is responsible to feed the natives, that is government. I can't blame an artist for not giving back to the community, because government is fully entitled to look after me as a citizen, because we pay taxes. Honestly speaking, case in point, you have an artist who has performed for 1 year, got a hit song, when the year is elapsing, started getting some little money to make ends meet. How can that artist get back to the community? What will she give back to the community?
It wasn't right to point fingers at artists or certain categories of people that, you know, you have to give, you have to, because you don't know what is in their pockets, you don't know how they survive, you know, because we are all humans. Like, I'm not a billionaire, you know, I'm not the richest person. So artists are also normal people like other people. They're also just trying to, you know, hustle and live a better life. So it's not right, it wasn't right to point fingers at artists that they have to do this, they have to do, because at the end of the day, the fans that we entertain, they pay money to come to our concerts, but we also invest in. They pay for their entertainment. They're not doing it to help. They're not doing it like they're helping us to come. It's like you say, I'm helping you. You know, it's a two-way. You're paying for the entertainment that I've put in my money, I've put in my effort. So nobody has a right to point fingers and say you have to do this. But as Paisana, I did it on my own. It was already in my plans, not because fans said. Because if I also didn't have the little I shared with the people I shared with, I would say, hey, I don't have this, like other artists did.
If the president says you're not allowed to give away food, and then you can give away food through this channel, for me it doesn't make any sense, because actively giving away food is not allowed. So what you do is that you get the government food, take a picture with it, and then give it to the people. You know what I mean? So that would make a lot of sense. Now government, you know, we're not allowed to give away food until we can give away food in the search tag. To have sent DJs money. Yes, I have. But I've not come on social media to humiliate them by saying, oh, onomwavu bana yamwadde sente mundabe. Talina. I don't do that.
Now, some players in the sector want government to offer a stimulus package which will in a way resuscitate the industry.
You see, the issue of handout is not sustainable. What I want is people should diversify their income. There is no one who will survive on one job, and you can't survive on one job, but because pandemics don't have appointment. So the right thing is, as much as you're an artist or a politician, you should do some agriculture. It's high time for them to get to commercial farming. So they supplement their music with commercial agriculture. Because as much as there is COVID, people want food every day. That is one. Two, they can enroll for Uber. People want transport to move. Three, if they are given this money, let them not waste it, that they are going to invest it in music. They could buy trucks and do trade. They could go to Mbarara, they can go to Masina and get cassava and bring it to town and sell. So they can join business, they can join trade, agro business, they can do commercial agriculture. Yes, they can do poultry. So it's not sustainable. So as much as that stimulus package is coming, they will give it to you and eat it. What will be next? Is government going to provide you every now and then? Will government be providing you with what to eat every now and then?
Yeah, I think the government should give us a stimulus package to the entertainment industry. I mean, it happened in Kenya, it's happened in other countries, and I think it would be because we need to revive the entertainment industry. We've been down for 4 months, but probably by the time this thing ends, 4 or 5 months, and definitely a stimulus package would help to get things moving again.
Yeah, it is a very brilliant move, because it's not like we do not contribute to the government. We do.
I don't support it. What are they giving back to government? Is government collecting taxes from them worth giving back to them?
Okay, some of us. Not everyone is taxed, because it's very hard to tax an entertainer who has no show. You understand? Nga alirawo was centers for mobile money. There's no track record of the money being received or spent. It is very hard to tax them. But the ones who are taxed, there has to be something to be done for them. Because trust me, we have been shut down.
The art industry at large, they have done so much. They have contributed so much. So as a government, they can find a way of actually, because I've seen other governments in other countries do that.
You know, we need to look at issues not like laymen. We need to look at issues like those who at least have gone to school, at least, not at most, at least. You want someone to give you, what do you offer? What have you given to that person? If people claim today that if traders down Chikubo claim that they want their road to be tarmacked, honestly, I even support them to strike. You get my point? Because these people are paying taxes on a daily or monthly or yearly or annually. But honestly speaking, our musicians, URA is running after them to pay taxes.
What I would advise government is encourage all these artists and their artist unions and their performing rights society and the comedian that please living in Kampala and living this luxurious life that we are used of buying a brand new Kawondo every 3 months, it's not sustainable. It's high time you traveled southward, westward to Nakaseke or to central Uganda, look for land, do some agriculture in the Wama. Yeah, people want food. People want potatoes, people want cassava, people want beans. So it's high time we diversified our incomes. Music is good, just like the president noted yesterday that people who do service, the money remains. When I organize a concert, Uganda Brewery is selling beer at that concert, people are drinking beer, the money remains in Uganda. Unlike other people who export and money goes to Europe or to China. So more emphasis on service, in service sector. We just need to supplement our service sector with one more sector. That will be probably agriculture or ICT. Yes, just imagine you're an artist, but you can do treating and blogging like Ashbag cattle. Yeah, imagine you're an artist, but then you have a farm. You're an artist, but then you're a lawyer like Sidiba Chagulani. You're an artist, but you're a politician like Bobby Wine. You will never go wrong. Yes, you're a member of parliament, earning as a member of parliament, also earning as a musician. An artist like a million, you are earning as an artist, but at the same time you are going to earn. At the same time you will earn as a road mayor. That is if Ugandans vote for him. So that is it.
For anybody who has probably read my book, Treating Small Business, I tried to emphasize the need for somebody to have alternative businesses. Even as we speak, the restaurants are closed, the club is closed, but the radio is working, Kabwirao is working. So, in whatever business you do, even beyond this, you must be able to appreciate that business can actually change.
When I started this agency, when I was starting the radio, for 6 good months, the agency was feeding the radio. Now as I speak, the agency is not earning. The radio is paying the workers of my agency. we deducted payments for both radio and the agent staff by 50% because of fall in revenue. However, because now I had a side business, radio, it is now sustaining the agents. So what happens if the radio also collapse, or if clients run away as they have been doing? What will happen? Now we have to do agriculture because the poorest will need biringanya, the poorest will need entula, the poorest will need G-nuts. So what we need to do now is to focus on those, focus on diversifying.
You can be an artist and still run a shop. You can be an artist and still run a bar. And after all, being an artist gives you free marketing. You can be an artist and have a big boutique, and people will come to you because you are an artist. So we need to be able to use this crowd that we have, which doesn't last forever. Some artists that used to be are no longer, and people see them now as mortal souls. So we need to be able to take advantage of the success we have now to be able to prepare for our future.
Amidst all this, there are lessons to learn.
We have to have more other investments, not look like you're working on TV. You have to have something aside, because what if now this is not working well, the other one can help. Just imagine if I had maybe a supermarket or maybe a grocery or maybe a restaurant, you could still earn something. So it doesn't, you don't need to have a bigger one, but we need to really do other investments aside, besides the music, because I've seen, we've actually, I, as Spice Diana, I've learned a big lesson in that.
Change is just the only constant. Whatever you're doing, you should just know that anything can happen suddenly and things will change. So sometimes it's good to anticipate change. It's good to have a safety net so that you have something kept away for such a rainy day, because the rainy days will come. It's just natural. Then, so whatever you do, just make sure you're prepared for change, because that is going to happen, and it's going to happen naturally.
The biggest lesson I'm learning from this COVID crisis is we diversify, because we don't know when events will resume, probably in October or November or December. Yes, we missed out on Easter weekend, and we're going to miss out more. So let them do sparingly. Now there is mean to travel. If you're an event organizer and that was your only event, they have villages where they come from. Let them go and do agriculture. Operation Wealth Creation and Lands are willing to provide them with some seedlings. So let them do agriculture, quick agriculture products like beans and peanuts, maize. This can grow very fast. So they can go now and do some little agriculture to sustain their family.
Toyina kudependinga ku mulimu gumu, cause like nganze ninawo buntu business wentandiseewo, yani ba promoters abalala nchibakutira batandika business webbali tebalina dependinga ku music yekka. Like ninawo nunde enkoko zange, nawo ekiyumba ky'enkoko nso kibalambuza, ninawo boda bwange buli awo buli buna, bundetera akasente ak'obuli lunaku obumanyi mpola mpola. Tetulina kudependinga ku music yekka.
It has made me become more creative because I used to concentrate on covering concerts, but now I have more good content.
Though the entertainment industry in Uganda is being viewed as profitable, some say its full potential has not been put to full usage.
If you look at other countries, like for example, just in East Africa, basically, like I feel like the sponsorships that people can get here in Uganda, and even the kind of response that local artists get to local audiences, like as in terms of attendance, is much better in Uganda than when compared to other countries. Like you don't hear in Kenya of artists having concerts with 10, 15,000 people, local artists, and you don't hear of brands getting behind the local industry. I think we're doing pretty well here in Uganda pre-COVID.
Because if you look in America invests a lot of money in Hollywood, because entertainment in any country is the face of the country. But you cannot say the country should help you when you the ones sustaining the industry. You get money and decide to pay to Ricky Rose to come and sing things you don't know. You have money then, why would the government help you? Let government help teachers and nurses. Because these American artists take a lot of money, maintenance and everything. Why don't you say, we are going to give all Ugandan artists music, Uganda, era baddemu kati this initiative bapromota bano Swangs Avenue, Steve Jean, Ketty, Balamu, they gather one way, go to the president and tell him that this is the face of Uganda. We need to be revamped back to what? To our status.
I think the government should do more. They should even come out and give cash back to the artists, back to the entertainment business, so they can stand, because if they don't, you're going to lose so many things after COVID-19. You're going to lose our culture. We're going to lose our identity as a nation. Because music has been actually a flag out there that they could recognize Uganda when it comes to music, since music is one of the things that do bind so many people worldwide. The music brings so many people together. So the government should do exactly what other governments have done, like in Nigeria, in South Africa, in US. The governments have come out and given back to the communities as well as the entertainment business mostly.
And now, one area in Uganda the artists have failed to embrace is royalties.
If there was copyright, unfortunately, all this is over. That's why if I hear those things about copyright, about URBS, about what, those coming to comedy, we shall have a very serious fight. Those people collect money from discos, radio stations, bichi, for the artists. Do the artists get this money?
They have Uganda Performing Rights Society, which collects royalties from us, radio owners and TV owners, including UBC. We all pay for running their music. So they are earning money. At the end of the year, they distribute that money to them.
People are too greedy in Uganda. People are greedy and people are green. People are naive, people are ignorant. And others, bayaye. So, once all these people meet together, the green ones, the greedy, the naive, and the ignorant, and those who think no more, then who is going to suffer? The naive one is going to suffer. The ignorant one is going to suffer. Because you can't tell me that I subscribe to your company or to your organization, then you're supposed to look after me or give back my sweat at the end of the month, and you can't tell me what you collected, but you only give me what you think I'm entitled to. Most probably what you think that I'm worth.
I don't think that UPRS is doing enough to assist artists, though even the artists are not doing the same work to help the UPRS. Because every time you have had the UPRS and the artists, they just come out and say this is a body that is stealing us, that is stealing us, that, but they don't realize that it is mandated in the constitution to take their control of their music. So if they have a problem with UPRS, they need to restructure, get a new one, but they don't seem to chase one thing and to the end product. They seem, one talks about it, another two talks about it, then it stops there. I have had many complaints about UPRS, but what has been done? The company is still there. They just complain for just hours and go. If you feel like the UPRS is not doing a good job, they should sit as artists, re-elect the body. The institution should stay, but the people who run it, then get sensitized, because even musicians don't know about how their music is saturated and what should be paid.
Unlike other associations where you have a similar background, if you're talking about Uganda Law Society, the Society of Lawyers or includes members who have gone through law school. So they have had a shared background, a shared belief, a shared culture, they have shared some environment. The doctors, the same. Even the traders that are informal, but they are in similar situations. When you look at UPRS, its whole reason is different. Clearly, the people who engineered it around here had nothing to do with artists. They found a gap, registered their gap with the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, and found a gap in which to make money, not to help artists. I doubt that there is any, that was even at the back of their minds. It was even championed by people who are not artists. I don't think they actually care about what artists do. No. But there are some changes, so I'm really hoping something is going to change. But it's also not being championed by artists, it's now being led by a lawyer who is probably trying to, resuscitate it in their own way. So it's not about artists. The musicians association also had its issues. Artists are not very simple people. I honestly had big belief in Julius Chaze and the team, because I know that beyond music they have something they want for the industry, but they are not easy to manage, so it's a tough.
They have not been collecting money in the last maybe 1 year. Basembo collecting sente bali babanje. Remember the ruckus that happened when they just kicked Wasula out. So right now they don't know who to give the money and what criteria to follow to give someone money. So they're trying to get technology in place and are following up. Ali legit indeed. Calvin, they've played this song 5 times, and for every airplay we give this much. So it's not about Waikibenda Mukuru ani muto. It's going to be about how many airplays do you have, and that's the money you're going to get. That's a very legit way to approach things, because chitu yamba netutabana byakutufera oli walinya oli si walinya oli ayina music omulungi abantu gwe bazanya ku TV ku video radio is the one, because they've earned that money, they should get that money.
You claim to be helping me get my money from the users of my music, that is radio, TV, online, discos and clubs and whatever. Then you come out and tell me, this time round we didn't collect some good money. Honestly, when you don't tell me how much you collect, because to be transparent, tell people what you get from the field and tell them what you use, how much you spend, and tell them what you have for them, because it is a two-way traffic. Kitegerekeka. Tell people nti nkusololeza mu music watakubye bulungi, your music isn't so good, but while we collected all over Uganda, we managed to get 5 million on you, from you only, artist so and so. Then the 5 million, we've deducted 2 million nga za kukozesa. Then the 3 million, tusigazaye million yemu to run the project or organization, then we are going to give you 2 million because your music munafu nnyo. But you come out and give someone 1 million after something like 4 months. Yet you've been putting pressure on clubs, radios and TVs and DJs. Then you pay someone after 4 months. These other 3 months, what went wrong?
If they can enforce the copyright law, it doesn't have to be top-notch, but it has to start somewhere. By the time COVID is gone, people are used to actually supporting artists on that level. Because Calvin, you just see someone and then the same media is going to bash him. Certain shows it's the fact that the music wasn't bringing in money as good as he might have been. Now he's just looked at as another mulalu. It's frustration that was killing him.
These collecting societies, we are not here to fight you, but we are here to tell you, let's work together. Let's have transparency, because every business where there is transparency, things move smoothly. When you don't have transparency, there are hiccups.
The Uganda Registration Service Bureau is the government body tasked with the mandate of registering the intellectual property where works of artists belong.
As far as URSP is concerned, we register businesses that relate to entertainment, to the sector. Because for you to run that business, you must register either a business name or a company. If there are contracts that relate to the sector, a musician wants to sign a licensing agreement or an assignment with another intermediary, they have to enter an agreement and get it registered with Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Our registration is optional, yes, but it's important that you register for purposes of evidence, for it to be attributed to you, and also enforcement if somebody has abused your rights. We have a challenge of people who copy and paste other people's work. We have a challenge of somebody who copies somebody's instrumentals or music, and they claim it to be, they claim that it is theirs. So that one is not eligible. And the other beauty also is that when you register your copyright, you can use it to to get a loan from any financial institution. This is something that is new. It's a new business model because the law, there's a secured interest in movable property law that is being implemented by the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. It sets up a collateral registry, how you can use movable property, and by movable property we mean anything that moves and has value apart from human beings. So now, because we're used to the traditional method, you have to put a land title or something regarding fixed property and you get a loan. Now it is possible for you to sing a song, to come up with a movie, write your book, come up with an art piece. As long as you have registered it with URSB, you can get a certificate and you get a loan from any bank because it has value. To get a certificate of registration, you only need to pay a 50,000 application fee. Then we receive the application and a copy of your work, a sample of your work. And then we will take out a gazette notice, which you publish in the Uganda Gazette. The Uganda Gazette is run by the Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation. Then after 60 days from the date of publication, if there is no opposition or objection by any party, then we give you a certificate. You don't have to pay. But for the publication, you have to pay between 300,000, 350, depending. But that is paid to the UPPC, not URSB. So as far as URSB is concerned, it's 50,000, and then you get a certificate.
For the enforcement of copyright in the music industry, URSB works with the Rights Society for Musicians, and that is the Uganda Performing Rights Society, UPRS.
A number of musicians, because they want to be known, because they want to build a reputation, because they are like starting up, they get the music co-works and take them to the broadcasting agencies. And their purpose is, the more they play me, the more my music is known, they may become a slave. That is the wrong approach. It is the broadcasting agencies around that should be paying you for using, because they depend on your work, they depend on your sweat. So the television stations, the music, the radio stations that play your music, that play your works, should be paying you. And that is why we bring in now the aspect of collective management system. Associations that are set up to manage the rights of the whole copyright holders. And the current collective management society that is for music is the Uganda Performing Rights Society. So you register and belong to that society, and it is the role of this society to collectively manage your rights.
However, last July, music artists lobbied and led to the suspension of the top leadership of UPRS, saying it was not remitting money paid to it for use of their works. The UPRS Chief Executive Officer James Wasula and Dixon Matovu, the compliance officer, were placed on suspension.
Musicians complained that they were not comfortable with the management because there was no transparency, they were not benefiting from the institution, and because we are regulators, we decided to do an audit. When we did an audit, it also led us to the complaints confirm the complaints of the musicians themselves. So we had an option of either closing it, that is winding it up under the law, or giving it another lease of life. And so we made a cost and benefit analysis. If we close this institution, who is going to make a loss? It is the musicians, the members that should be benefiting from this. And so we decided to do a caretaker management. We got caretakers to come take over the institution, take away the management that was being complained about, so that another audit is done and an investigation is done, and when it is done, it would lead to us putting in place better systems. Membership verification, for example, when you look at the register of your UPRS, the names that are on the register, do not exist. Somebody calls themselves rat dog. There is no identity. You don't know who the person is. Others have many minors on the list. So there is a process of cleanup that is ongoing to verify members. First of all, it's not mandatory to belong to a collective management society. But the collective management society, like I mentioned, is a model, it's a global model. And when you look at actually many of the collective management societies, they've had so many leadership challenges globally. The law limits, the law ties you to one organization per band of rights. So there can never be another collective management society that is going to address music issues. But the beauty is that you can change leadership and management.
Karamaji Kabito is now the interim executive officer of UPRS.
The model that UPRS uses is one that deals directly with the entertainment business as we know it. Bars, hotels, gardens, weddings, and that sort of thing. That has been a major contributor for UPRS's revenues. The effect on that industry, the leisure industry, is very clear. So we've not actually gotten any money out of that. The COVID-19 pandemic affected the caretakers restructuring process. Our plan for UPRS is to elevate it to a status where it can recover more through strategic partnerships with government entities. The membership right now is about 3,000. In fact, the figure I believe is about 2,900 and maybe 60 to be exact. That's the membership we have. But there's a potential. That's not all the musicians that there is. We believe that there are about 30,000 musicians in this country that can join the society. So that's the potential of this membership. What is holding back that membership from joining? A number of things, the complaints that have led us to be appointed as caretakers.
He adds theirs has been a Herculean task of correcting the earlier mess.
The model of a CMO, model of distribution of royalties, is based on a reward for creativity. The better played song, the more played song is the one that earns. Okay? What we seem to see is that there was some kind of a blanket figure with no clear clarity given out. 2 million, 300,000, 200,000 and so on. That sort of thing. And we think the reason for that is because the monitoring function of the society was weak. What we're doing is putting systems in place that promote transparency. Working with the regulator, we have put in place we're helping the regulator review a constitution that will clearly provide for what your rights as members are, what you can demand, and give you a much better say in the running of this society. Let me just give you an example, Calvin. You probably know your bank. I mean, you have a bank account, I have no doubt about it. Do you ever care who the bank manager is? Do you ever need him? That's because you are certain and sure of your money when you need it. Isn't it? That's the kind of thing we're trying to build with UPRS. It's to deal with credibility. Credibility comes with systems. So we think that once that is put in place, the natural reaction for members will be to join, because the benefits will be self-evident. UPRS, at its full capacity, I'm happy to go on record that UPRS has the capacity to pay up to over 100 million per year to one song. It has that capacity, our studies show. The answer in achieving that and how to achieve that is in building the right system, entrusting the right people, working closely with government entities, increasing the profile of this institution, and being transparent to that. Once that happens, that money will come in.
These guys have been collecting money revenue from the artist songs and stuff like that. But they cannot help you, not with 1 million at this point. But me, when was the last time I got paid from those guys? They gave me 200,000 shillings. It's a Uganda. For the past 6 years, I've been singing in the industry. Oh my God, it's really crazy. I'm so pissed with those guys. But there's nothing they can do, you know?
Spice Diana is lucky she has received 200,000. I have met people who have never received any money and have no clarity on how this runs. The systems that we're building in place, automated systems, so that you have full visibility of what is happening in the institution. UPRS derives its mandate from its membership. So if you don't join, you don't benefit. That's just the way it works. So assuming some big movie comes here and takes all the Ugandan songs, and we charge royalties, and so we negotiate and they pay. That money would be paid only to the members. So that's where the first benefit is. The work and function of a CMO has been misunderstood. For example, we have found that in the records of UPRS, money was given to artists to promote launches of albums and people who are sick, death contributions and so on. With all due respect, that's not what the CMO does. That's not what it does. The money collected is for payment of royalties. The audit shows the money was actually paid. But it's also not a lot. I'll be honest with you. You see, on average, collections of about 600 million. You find, let's say, what we found is, let's say, build royalties of, let's say, maybe 800 million, out of which 600 is collected. Then you have operational costs that are high. You're high because you're running that like a rat, just running around one operation after another. Now, the best that UPRS did performed was in 2016, and that's because they had the powers of enforcement. However, the certificates for inspectors were withdrawn following the conflicts of musicians. So between 2017-18, revenues dipped because you're not running, you're not shaking people. When we came on board in August last year, we tried, and really it was for purposes of testing how these systems work. So we did a few enforcements, and that's why I'm telling you, we're able to see that, yes, we collected money, okay? But the system was all mucky, people are angry, people are taking us to court, people are complaining. That's not how you collect money. So we have to find a cheaper and more cost-effective way. We need to clean up inside. Then we need to launch the right communication strategy, first with our members, to say, look how smart we are, look at how we've improved. This is what we're promising you. We need to give you a new promise. Okay? And this is what our promise is. Go check this out, go check out our website, go look at that, be proud, join us. So that then the narrative changes. Together now as a block, we can then be able to face the user and say, guys, we come to you in peace. We are creating an avenue for professionals, those who do well, to have endorsements. So you will not be earning 500,000. You might easily hook up with 500 million a year if you do your act well.
Uganda's nightlife has been unrivaled in the region, with the country taking plaudits as the capital of entertainment in East Africa. The service sector's contribution to the economy has been enormous. With COVID-19, a lot has been forfeited, but many are hopeful that the industry will bounce back bigger than ever before. But for now, the new platforms of entertainment must be embraced as governments world over find ways of nipping this pandemic in the bud.